Welcome to Computer Graphics and Visualization subject at subject code 17CS62. Today in this subject we will discuss module 2. Already in this module field area primitives already I have covered in class. Then 2D geometric transformation, some portion I have covered in during the explanation of experiment 2 in lab. Before explaining that experiment I have covered 2D geometric transformation. Some more portion is left in 2D geometric transformation that I will cover in this video. And regarding 2D weaving, this 2D weaving I will cover in third module beginning. Right, at the beginning of third module I will cover, because again this is related to third module some concept. That's why 2D weaving I will cover theoretical part. Then whatever weaving functions are there I will cover in this only. Right. 2D geometric transformations I have covered in experiment number 2. Before explaining that program I have covered 2D geometric transformation, some portion, then remaining portion, that is inverse transformation and all those things I will cover in this slide. Right, we will go ahead with that concept. Right, that is inverse transformation. Before this whatever concept was there that I have covered in, as I told, in during lab explanation, that is experiment number 2. Inverse transformation. Before going to inverse transformation, just I will recall the transformations available in 2D whatever I have covered in that lab session. Right, there is a translation, there is a rotation, there is a scaling we have discussed. Translation we have discussed, rotation we have discussed, scaling we have discussed. Again how to represent, how to derive the equation also we have discussed in that lab session for all the transformations. Right, then how to come to homogeneous coordinate system, why we came to homogeneous coordinate system, every concept I explained there. Right, what is the translation matrix, what is the rotation matrix, what is the scaling matrix, all we have derived in that lab session. Now same transformations but inverse. Right, inverse in the sense, in translation, suppose if you are moving away from the origin, then you have added the some translation factor to x, means for x is a 10 units in x direction, then 10 units in y direction. If you want that point which is at 10, 10 in coordinate system, if you want that point at 20, 20, then how to move 10, 10 to 20, 20, then translation factor, if you add that x in x direction, x plus 10 means already x is 10, so that if you add 10 then it moves to x becomes 20, x dash new x dash becomes 20. Similarly new y dash equal to y plus translation factor, that is means already y is 10, then to that if you add 10 then translation factor is a 10, then again y dash will become 20, then new point is at 20, 20, that is x dash y dash. Like that we have done, means if we add it will go away from the origin. Right, that is what normal translation. Then same inverse translation. How to do inverse translation means whenever you want to take back towards origin, whenever you want to take that point to origin, already is at 10, 10, you want that as 5, 5. Assume that you want that point at 5, 5. Then what you will do? You have to do the inverse. Means that is 5, 5 is the new x dash y dash. Originally x is x and y are at 10, 10. New x dash y dash you want at 5, 5. Then how to come to 5, 5? That is x minus translation factor. X minus translation factor. What is the translation factor here? 5. X minus 5. Right? That is x is already it has 10. Then translation factor is minus 5. Then 10 minus 5, new x will become, x dash will become 5. Similarly in y dash. Similarly in y direction. In already y is at 10. You want new y dash at 5. Then how to come to 5? Then y minus translation factor. That is a minus 5. Right, that is the inverse translation. That matrix we have written here. Means if you do the subtraction you are coming towards origin, that is the inverse. Right, if you add you are going away from the origin. Right, this is inverse translation. Again similarly rotation, as I told, in rotation we have derived counterclockwise rotation matrix we have derived. For example, if you want to do the clockwise rotation, whatever matrix we have derived in that lab session regarding translation, that we have derived with the counterclockwise rotation. I think you remember earlier we were at a theta distance from x, then I want again pi more angle to be rotated from the x, that's what we have done, theta plus pi. Theta plus pi we have added, then we have to divide the matrix. Now I want clockwise rotation, then I have to subtract. Now I have to subtract the angle. That's why minus theta. Now it will become minus theta. If I derive the equation for minus theta, then inverse matrix it will come here. For a normal matrix, for counterclockwise matrix, that matrix I'll recall cos theta minus sin theta 0, sin theta cos theta 0, 0, 0, 1 was the counterclockwise rotation. Now this is a clockwise rotation, that's the inverse. This is a clockwise rotation, that is inverse. That's why the minus symbol of this sign, minus sign of this sign will move here. This is the inverse rotation. This is a clockwise rotation. Whatever in earlier we did, that is counterclockwise rotation. Like this, we are rotating like this. In this, we will rotate like this. That is inverse rotation. That's why R inverse, T inverse. Then similarly scaling. As I told, if your scale factor is greater than 1, then you are making large. The object size will become increased. If your scale factor is less than 1, then the object size will reduce. Then how to make less than 1 scale factor? 1 by scale factor. Right? This is matrix already we have derived. How we have taken matrix, I have explained in that lab session. Right? When you want less than 1 scale factor, then 1 by scale factor. Then in x direction. Similarly, 1 by sy in y direction. Then this is again you have represented everything in homogeneous coordinate system. Again I have told how you will move to homogeneous coordinate system, all those things in that video. Right? This whatever you have represented, this we are represented in homogeneous. We are in 2D coordinate system, but the third column and third row are homogeneous coordinates. Right? That is all. Then applying the inverse transformation does the opposition transformation. As I told, applying inverse does the opposition. In normal transformation, if you are moving away from the origin, in inverse you will move towards the origin. In normal rotation, clockwise rotation, if you are rotating clockwise, in inverse if you are rotating anti-clockwise. Right? In normal scaling, if you are increasing the size of your object, in inverse scaling you will reduce the size of object. Right? That is what this. Right? This is regarding inverse transformations. Right? Then inverse rotation matrix. As I told, inverse rotation matrix, we compute the inverse directly by using the negative angle, that is minus theta. Only sign was affected by this. As I told, sign. Original matrix, already I told in previous slide, original clockwise rotation matrix is this. Inverse matrix, only this sign of this sin theta will move from this to this. That we have done here. That is rotation. That is the inverse rotation. Right? Then 2D pivot arbitrary point means, as I have told, whatever matrix we have derived, that may be translation, that may be rotation, that may be reflection. Those matrix we have derived considering reference point as a origin. Rotation I have done with respect to origin as a reference point. Then translation I have done with respect to origin as a reference point. Then scaling also I have done with respect to origin as a reference point. Right? Means always the reference point was fixed, that is origin. With respect to origin, you have rotated. With respect to origin, you have moved. With respect to origin, you have scaled. Right? But in some of the problem, what happens? In most of the real life problems, situation may be different. Means you may require to rotate, or you may require to scale, or you may require to translate with some arbitrary point. That is called pivot point or arbitrary point. Right? Means whatever arbitrary point, example here we have taken arbitrary point rotation. Means I want whatever rotation previously we have done, we have considered this as the origin. Then with about this point we have rotated. Either you might have rotated clockwise or you might have rotated anti-clockwise. Means anti-clockwise or clockwise. But you have considered always this as a reference point, origin as a reference point. Now I don't want to rotate my object with respect to this point. I want to rotate my object with respect to this point. That point is within the object now. That reference point is within the object. Reference point is not origin now in this case. Reference point is not origin in this case. Reference point is within the object, that is away from the origin. Right? Here. With respect to this point, I would like to rotate the object. Right? Then how to do this? Whatever rotation matrix I have with respect to origin. I don't have direct matrix with respect to this point. Whatever matrix we have derived, rotation matrix, we have derived with respect to origin, right? Then now my problem is, he is expecting me to rotate about this point, right? Then how to do, right? Then for doing this one, what we have to do, I know that there is a rotation matrix available with respect to origin. If I bring this point to origin, then directly I can apply that matrix rotation about origin. That's why what I will do, I will bring this point to align in such a way that this point must align with this origin, right? I will take this XR YR point in such a way that XR YR will become X0 Y0, means that align. I align, just map this with this, means somehow you bring this object in such a way that this reference point has to coincide with reference point, origin reference point, right? Then how to do this? You know there is a translation, right? There is a translation. Which type translation again you require here? This is point is away from the origin. You want that at origin. You want that at origin. Then which type of translation you have to do? Inverse translation. Means you subtract. It is x distance in x direction. It is y distance in y direction. Then from this you subtract this much unit in x. Then in y direction you subtract this much unit. It will come to origin. That is the inverse translation. You have to do inverse translation. After doing inverse translation, that XR, YR, originally that point was here, then that point will come here. That point will come here. Now the object is that reference point is aligned with origin. Then I know how to rotate about origin. I know the matrix, direct matrix is there, how to rotate about origin. Then I will apply rotation matrix. Right? If you want, you can rotate anti-clockwise, or if you want, you can rotate clockwise. That left to you. Right? That's what, now I am rotating anti-clockwise. I am rotating anti-clockwise like this, right? I will rotate anti-clockwise. Then I have the matrix, anti-clockwise rotation matrix I have. Then I will apply that anti-clockwise rotation matrix. Then it will rotate. Whatever, 90 degree. If you want to rotate 90 degree, you rotate 90 degree, 30 degree. I rotated 90 degree. I rotated that matrix with a 90 degree. That's why that point was here. Then this point will come here. Then everything will move here. 90 degree anti-clockwise rotation. Right? Now, but where you want that object? Again, you want that object, rotated object. Somewhere here with respect to this point you want. With respect to here you want rotation object like this, right? That triangle. You don't want that triangle here. You don't want that triangle at here. Originally that triangle is here. You want rotation at this point, but you don't have direct equations for rotating this point at this point. That's why you have done these transformations, right? Then you want that origin point is somewhere here. You want to rotate up. Actually, your problem was you would like to rotate about this point, but where you are rotated about here. Then how to rotate, how to make rotation here? Then what you have done here? You have taken this point to origin, then send this back to here, again send this back to here. Means retranslate this point, you retranslate here. You have done that point again. I have retranslated at that point. Now how we are seeing the object? Originally the triangle was like this. Then now the triangle is rotated 90 degree in counterclockwise. You are seeing that the triangle is rotated counterclockwise 90 degree. Right? These all transformation you require. But what type of translation now you require? You require normal translation. Means you have to move away from the origin now. Means you have to add. You have to add how much you have subtracted here. If the same amount if you add, again it will come back to its original position. This is what rotation about arbitrary point, right? So we can generate 2D rotation about any other pivot point XY by performing the following sequence of translate, rotate, translate operations, right? That is here. Means translate the object so that the pivot point position is moved to the coordinate origin, then rotate the object above the coordinate origin, then retranslate object so that the pivot point is returned to its original position. That's why first what operation you have done? First inverse translation you have done. Again, which operation you have done? First you write at right hand side, inverse translation you have done. Then afterwards you are rotated. Then afterwards again translated back. This is matrix. Then start multiplying from this side. Multiply this matrix into this matrix. Then you will get some resultant matrix. Then that result into this matrix. Then you will get this result. This is the matrix. Resultant matrix of rotation about 2D point, about 2D pivot point rotation or 2D arbitrary point rotation. If you know this matrix, directly whatever theta angle, whatever translation factor you want, if you give in this matrix, automatically you will get directly this. Directly this means this is the result of this object, right? You will not feel this directly. Original point was here, only you will see this result. This intermediate results will not come because this is the result of multiplying 3 matrix. That's why you will see this. This is again affine transformation or composition of transformation. Here we have composite transformation, means I have inverse translation, rotation, normal translation, right? This is the composition of transformations, right? We have not done only one transformation to get this effect. To get this effect, only one transformation is not sufficient. How many transformations we have used? Translation, rotation, retranslation. This is what affine transformation or composite transformations, right? This is the result. That's why in short we have written resultant. Rotation matrix is inverse translation, rotation, retranslation, right? This is what. Then scaling around an arbitrary fixed point. Again, whatever scaling we have done in that lab session explanation, again scaling we have done with respect to origin. But now you want to scale with respect to some point in that object like this. Means you want to scale about this point. Means you want to increase this object in x direction with respect to this point. You want to increase the object with respect to in the y direction with respect to this point, not with respect to origin. You want to scale with respect to this point, right? That is PR, then PX and PY, right? Then how to do? Again, I don't have a matrix at this point. I have a matrix, scaling matrix with respect to origin. Then how to do this? Again, same thing. You align in such a way that this point must coincide with origin. That we have done here. That is inverse translation. Inverse translation, it will come to here. Then you scale here. You directly have a matrix. You have a scaling matrix here, right? You scale whatever amount you want to scale in x direction. You scale, y direction you scale. Then you have scaled. But where you have scaled with respect to origin, you have scaled. But where you want that point, you want somewhere here. That point you are somewhere here. Then what you have to? You translate back. Again translate back to PR1. Then you will get scale. Originally your matrix size was like this. Now your matrix will become like this, right? Then how we have done? Again as I told, inverse translation with respect to that point, then scale with respect to origin, then retranslate, right? Then inverse translation matrix minus px minus py, because here when you come towards origin, inverse, then scale means you are zooming out, means you are making large. Here object size is increased. If you are reducing object size, then the scaling matrix will be different, inverse scaling. At that time inverse scaling. But if you see the output of this is compared to this size is big. That's why you are normal scaling. You are not inverse scaling. You are not done. Means inverse scaling. If you have done inverse scaling, then definitely the result this box will be smaller than this. But this box is greater than this. Means normal scaling you have done. Then again send back. Right? That's why which first operation you have done, that is right side. Then next operation, then multiply from left side. You start multiplying from left side, then you will get a resultant matrix. Just take it as an exercise, then multiply, then whatever resultant matrix you will get, that is scaling around an arbitrary point matrix. Then directly give values to that matrix, then directly original input is like this, directly you will see this output. You will not see intermediate outputs because the resultant matrix is multiplication of all 3 matrices. Right? This is scaling and around at arbitrary point. Right? Then order of matrix, as I told, order of matrix. That's why I am telling why order of matrix is important. That's why I am telling which operation you have done first, that you write right side, then next operation, again if you have done other operation, keep on writing left side. Right? Don't write right side of previous matrix. That's why order of matrix is important. Why order of matrix is important? What order you apply your matrices will affect what transformations you perform. Actually, you want this type of output. Right? You want this type of output. Your original input is like this. You want this type of output. But if you change the order, then you may get output like this. What means to get this? What is your actually operation? Rotation, scale, then rotation. Right? Here, rotation and scale is your actually order. Your order is first rotate, then scale. Original object is like this. Rotate about origin, with some theta, some angle, then scale. Actually this is your intention, but what you have done by mistake, first you have scale, then afterwards you have rotated. While writing matrix you have written in reverse. First you have scale, then afterwards you have rotated. If you scale first, then after scaling you will get this picture will be changed to this in this picture. Then afterwards if you rotate, then you will get this. Right? Actually you want object like this. Because of you have changed the order of the matrix multiplication, you are getting like this. That's why the order of matrix is very important. Order of matrix is very important. Right? This is very careful. Then other transformations are two-dimensional reflection. Right? Reflection is special type of rotation. Is a transformation that produces a mirror image of an object. It is obtained by rotating the object by 180 degree above the reflection axis. That's why this is a special case of rotation. Means what rotation? Always 180 degree. If you rotate any object by 180 degree, then that object is, you will feel that object, that is a operation, reflection of operation. And that's why original object is like this. Original object. If you rotate it by 180 degree, then this will come here, then these two will come here. This is a reflection, exactly mirror image. Right? Reflected object. Right? Reflection about the line y equal to 0. Reflection about the line y equal to means there is no change in y. Right? There is reflection about line y equal to 0. The x-axis is accomplished with the transformation method. Means there is no change in reflection. Y equal to 0 means only there is change in y value. There is no change in x. X will not change. X remains same. Right? X remains same. That's why x in this becomes, if it is a plus 1, it remains plus 1, but y becomes change. Y will change here. If y is plus 1 plus side, then y will minus. Then anyway there is no z because this is a 2D, this is a homogeneous coordinate system. X remains same, only there is change in y. If y is plus, then y will become negative. So this is reflection about the line y equal to 0. Then same x equal to 0. Same x means you want to reflect like this. Original object, reflection about means you are reflecting actually about y axis. That's called line x equal to 0. Line x equal to 0. Right? The y axis is accomplished with the transformation matrix. At that time, the x will change. If x is negative in this side, x will become positive in this side. There is no change in y. There is no change in y value. That's why y remains same. Y sign will not change. Only x sign will change. Right? This is the reflection. Then x line x equal to 0. Right? Then reflection of an object relative to an axis perpendicular to the xy plane and passing through the coordinate origin. Means you want to reflect about the origin. Means like this or like this. Anyway, right? You want to rotate. Original object is here. You want reflection in this quadrant. Right? Then how that? What is that? Again here, what happens? Both x, y will change. Both x, y will change. Right? Here x is negative, y is also negative. Here x will come positive, y will also come positive. And I are doing this. Right? That is what? -1, -1. The above reflection matrix is the rotation matrix with angle 180 degree. This can be generalized to any reflection point in the xy plane. This reflection is the same as the 180 degree rotation in the xy plane using the reflection point as the pivot point. Using the reflection point as the pivot point means simply you are reflecting about the origin. That origin means some pivot point. Right here. This is one. Again, arbitrary point means it is not with respect to any of the origin, with not respect to any object. Some arbitrary reflection of an object with respect to one straight line, that is y equal to x. Means there is a one straight line y equal to x about this. Means here inversely from this quadrant to this quadrant it was moving. Here also from this quadrant to this quadrant it is moving. Again here also it is directly changing quadrant position. But here it is in the same quadrant, it is changing position, reflection. That's why that is straight line. Y equal to x means this y equal to x about this line you want to reflect. Right? This original position and reflection. Then in this case the matrix will become 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, then 0, 0. Right? Means x will become y, y will become x. Right? This is what here. Whatever x distance it was here, this distance will become now y distance. Right? Here Here 2 was, to assume that 2 is in y direction 10 units. In y direction from origin it is at 10 units, right? In y direction, in original figure it is at 10 units. Now after reflection in x direction it will become 10. It will become 10. Then whatever x was there, it will become y. It will become y, right? In x it was 2 units. Now y will become 2 units, right? That's why x will become y, y will become, they will interchange the positions. This is a reflection about a straight line with y equal to x. Similarly y equal to minus x. Similarly y equal to minus x. Again same thing. Same thing. Only negative positive, but again same, x and y value will change, right? Then y equal to mx plus c. It is a reflection of an arbitrary axis where y equal to mx plus b or mx plus c. There is one line which is not at, again if you see this line, the line is passing through origin. That's why y equal to minus x or y equal to x. Y equal means always that line passes through origin. But in this case, y is not at passing through origin. Y is a line is in a such a direction that y equal to mx plus b, right? Somewhere here. Then how to do this reflection? Whatever reflection we have discussed, always the line was like this, then I have reflection, then I have direct matrix. In this case, line was like this, I have direct matrix. In this case, I am rotating, reflecting like this, I have direct matrix. In this case, I have reference point to line was this, then I have rotated. In this case, reference line was this, I have rotated. But in this case, we don't have such reference. It is some arbitrary line. I want to rotate about some arbitrary line. Then how to do this? I don't have direct matrix for such type of reflections. Then how to do? Again, this. What you have to do? The line is like this. Line is like this. First you take this line in a such a way that the one point of this line must coincide with origin. That we have done. What is that? Translation, so that it passes through origin. It passes through means you translate this in a such a way that this line has to come to origin. That you have done here. Means in y direction I have subtracted. It is some y distance away from the origin. Then to take it to origin, you subtract this. Again it will come to origin. That we have done. Right? Then afterwards, then you know you align that line about any of the axis. Then rotate so that it coincides with the x axis and reflection also about the x axis. So that you can rotate this line in a such a way that it must align with x axis or y axis also you can align. You can rotate like this also. Counterclockwise also you can rotate so that it aligns with y axis, or you can rotate clockwise direction, it will align with x axis. Here we have rotated clockwise direction, it has aligned with x. I know how to rotate counterclockwise direction. There I have rotation matrix over with origin. Again I am rotating with respect to origin. That matrix I will apply so that it will align with x axis, right? Once it aligns with x axis, then take a reflection there. Then take a reflection. Here you take a reflection. You know how to take a reflection about this matrix. You use directly this matrix, right? If you multiply with this matrix, then it will be reflection about that axis. Then after that, you will get reflection. Then what you have to do? Again re-rotate. Then that line will come like this. Means it will come like this. Re-rotate. That line will come like this. Then afterwards you want here. Then retranslate. Then you will get reflection you have done about this axis. You will feel that you have done reflection about this axis. But to do this, what you have done? Translated, rotated, then you have taken a reflection, re-rotate, then retranslate. Then you will feel that you have reflected about some arbitrary axis, that is y equal to lx plus b. Right? This. Right? Again, just you. This is again a affine transformation of homogeneous means composition of matrix, means first original matrix, then your translation matrix, you write the translation matrix, then rotation matrix, then reflection matrix, then retranslation matrix, then re-rotation matrix, then retranslation matrix. If you multiply all, then you will get resultant matrix. Take it as assignment, then calculate the equivalent matrix for this type of reflection. Right? This is a affine transformation or composite transformation. Then save. Again one more special type of other transformation, save. That is a deform the shape like shifted slices. Right? Means example for old dictionaries. Old dictionaries, those are thicker, means bigger size in height wise. At that time, if you press flat books, if you press very big large books from one edge at the one edge, then you will see that edge will move other side, right? That is the color sharing. That is color sharing. Again, this is the other transformation, right? If you press this side, then it will move like this. You bigger size books you take and you try out this, right? If you press at one edge, then that book will change its shape, right? That is what is sharing. Originally, matrix was object was here. If you press something here, if you press, then it will make like this. That is why 0 1, then 1 0. Then after pressing, this will become 2 1, then 3 1. This is what again? What is the equation for x here? X dash equal to, in x direction, x plus sx into y. You will have to get as x dash if it is x here. If it is a x here, then x plus shy into y. Y dash becomes same. There is no change in y, right? You see, there is no change in y. Y remains 1, y remains 1, hence y remains 1, y remains 1. Only there is change in x. Right? This is what x is here. Right? That is shx. This is if I write in a matrix format, then this matrix. Y remains same in x here. In similarly in y is here, I have written both matrix. In x here, this is the matrix. Then you will get this. In y is here, then this means x remains same. Y will change. This is sharing in x direction and y direction. But for this you have to assume that the object is not solid. Object is like a rubber. Solid object will not change its shape, you press or not. If you press on a solid object, they will not change the shape. Only you have to assume that the object is some elasticity. It has an elasticity property. Right? In that case, you can apply this here. Right? Then next is raster methods for geometric transformations. Raster methods for geometric means whatever transformation we have done, this we have done the transformation with respect to equations and matrix. Then geometric transformation can be done. Means what is there? You have your output in some of the frame. Already your output is there in frame buffer. Somewhere in this frame buffer, in this area, your output P minimum, P maximum. In this frame buffer, you have this house-like structure. You want to translate somewhere here. You want to translate that object somewhere here. Instead of applying that x minus x dash, x factor, x translation factor, y minus y translation factor, you can do directly just by copying the content of frame buffer from this position and copying somewhere here. Means copy and paste. Take the content of frame buffer from P minimum to P maximum, then that paste somewhere here. At that time you will feel that you are translated. But how you have done that translation? You have not applied any equation. You have not done translation as you have done previously. Means translation is actually, what is that translation? X dash equal to x plus tx or x minus tx, y dash equal to y plus ty or y minus ty. Again inverse and normal translation. By applying those we have done. But in this case what we have done, already my output is there in a frame buffer. What I have done? Cut and paste I have done. I have copied the content of this area from the frame buffer, then I have pasted somewhere here. Then you are feeling that the object is moved on your monitor. Again I have told, the size of frame buffer is exactly equal to number of pixels on your monitor. Right? Every frame buffer memory relates to particular pixel. Right? If you change anything here, nothing but you are directly changing the pixel content of your monitor. That's why it will happen like this. Right? Again, rotation also can be done by geometric transformations. Rotation also can be done. For example, rotate two-dimensional object or a pattern 90 degree counterclockwise. You want to rotate 90 degree counterclockwise, means in this direction, 90 degree. By how to do this one? Again, don't go for that matrix multiplication, all those things. Directly, whatever image you have in the frame buffer, directly apply there. What is there? How to do this one? Originally your image is like this, means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You want to rotate this by 90 degree and counterclockwise. What is the procedure? Reverse the pixel values in each row of the array. Reverse the pixel values in each row of the object array. Right? What is that? It is reverse, that is each row. You reverse each row, then interchange rows and columns. Right? Interchange rows and columns. reverse each row, that is 3 will become here, then 1 will come to this side, 6 will come here, then the reverse, then interchange the rows and columns, interchange rows and columns, right? This will become after reversing. After reverse means reversing the pixel values in each row and row of the array, right? Row of the array means change row into columns and reverse. Actually change rows into columns and reverse, right? Here this is row, then this will become column here, 1 2 3. Actually this is row, then this will become 1 2 3, 1 2 3, reverse, then 4 5 6 or 6 5 6, then change, then interchange rows into columns, then interchange rows into columns, that is rows into columns here. This is a row, this will become column, this is a row, this will become column, this is a row, this will become column. Then if you display this matrix, then you will see that the 90-degree counterclockwise object is rotated, right? This is not, we have not done any equation, we have not done any translation, just simply we have exchange the rows and columns, then exchange the rows into columns, right? This is what happens, right? Again same with the scaling, right? Then next OpenGL raster transformation. For that we have for doing the raster transformation, OpenGL has APIs. OpenGL has APIs. Copying pixel from one buffer area to another can be accomplished with, there is a API available in OpenGL, that GL copy pixel. GL copy pixel, X minimum, Y minimum means again that window, from here you want to begin, width, height. Width is nothing but X maximum, height is nothing but Y maximum, then color. What color you want to copy, that paste, right? The GL color says what is to be copied, color values, then copied to refresh buffer at the same location, right? Then copy. Then same for to read into an array, to read into an array, GL read pixels, X minimum, Y minimum, W width, height, then GL RGB color, GL unsigned by color array, right? Color array. To do this, you have to first copy in array, you have to copy it in array, then from that copying array, then you have to do these all rotations. To do 90-degree rotation could rearrange rows and columns of an array. That's why first you copy it into array, means read into array, then in that array you exchange the rows and columns, right? Then reverse rows and columns, that has to be done. That's why read into first pixels into array, then GL draw pixel, then afterwards draw the pixel. First read, do all exchanges, then draw. This will rotation 90-degree, whatever angle you want to rotate, that you can rotate, right? To scale and use array, to scale and area use, to scale and area use GL pixel zoom, right? SX YX means how many X direction you want to multiply, how many pixels you want to multiply in Y direction, where SX and SY are any non-zero floating point values. Negative values cause reflection, negative values will cause reflection, then use GL copy pixels, zoom here, then GL copy pixels or GL draw pixels to draw, right? These are APIs available, geometric transformations, right? Then OpenGL transformation function, normal transformation, that is the translation, rotation, reflection, whatever you have done. For that also OpenGL supports. First one is the translation, then is offset, means whenever you want to translate to original value, you have to add the factors. Originally you have to add the translation factor. In how much unit you want to translate in X direction, that is the TX. How much unit you want to translate in Y direction, that is TY translation factor. How much unit you want to translate in ZX, that TZ. When you go to 3 dimension, at that time this will be required. Now we are in 2 dimensions, that's why this is not going to be affected now. We will take this as a 0. Is applied to all subsequent coordinates. Effectively move the origin of coordinate system. For example, originally your point is at X, Y, Z. Right? In this case, Z we are taking 0 because 2 dimensional. Then you want X, that point at X dash and Y dash. Then how to take to X dash and Y dash? In X original value, you want your translation factor in X direction. To original value in Y direction, you have the translation factor in Y direction. Then automatically it moves at X dash, Y dash. Since this is a 2-dimensional, Z dash is 0. Right? For doing this one, we have the OpenGL API. OpenGL function is GL translate. Then directly OpenGL function is available. GL translate to this GL translate F. GL translate F floating point. Just to give translation factors. In how much unit you want to move in X direction, that unit in how many units you want to translate in y direction, how many units you want to translate in z direction. If z direction will give it in 3D, now 3D in 2D it is 0. Then automatically it adds, tx will be added to original x, ty will be added to original y automatically. Right? This is what the OpenGL API available for translation. Then similarly rotation. Again the OpenGL supports rotation also. Expressed as a rotation through angle theta about an axis direction. That is x, y, z. Again rotation can be done about x, y, z. Right? In this case always by default rotation in 2D is about z direction. About z direction. By default rotation in 2D is about z direction. But when it comes to 3 dimensional, you can rotate about z direction around the z. You can rotate around y. You can rotate around x. But by default in 2 dimension rotation is about z axis. Right? That's why OpenGL function GL rotate f. GL rotate f. How much angle you want to rotate? How much angle you want to rotate? About each axis. About each axis. In this case, by default, rotation is about z axis. That's why each axis value is set, nothing but you are rotating about that axis. If x is 1, then you are rotating about x axis. If x is 1, remaining are 0, 0. If x is 1, remaining are 0, 0, then some angle if you have mentioned, you are rotating about x axis with this angle. If x is 0, y is 1, z is 0, nothing but you are rotating about y axis. Similarly, when z is 1, remaining 2 are 0, then you are rotating about z axis with this angle. Right? So the rotation example, so rotate GL rotate f 30 0 1 0 is nothing but rotate by a 30 about y axis. About y axis. Right? That about y axis rotation is not possible in 2 dimensions, but it is possible in 3 dimensions. Only rotation about z axis is possible in 2 dimensions. But this is one example we have taken. Right? If in 2 dimensions, how it will become? Rotate GL rotate f 30 0 0 1.0. Right? It is 2D rotation. Note carefully, GL rotate wants angle in degrees. GL rotate wants angle in degrees. Right? See math library, sine, cos, etc. wants angles in radians. You have to convert angles in radians. Right? Then that is how to convert degree radians into 180 by pi. Radians into degrees into, you can convert, means both way you can convert. Right? Positive angle, as I told, positive angle, right hand rule. Positive angle, right hand rule, if the thumb points along the vector of the rotation, the thumb points around the vector of the rotation, a positive angle has the fingers curling towards the palm. Right? Then scaling. Similarly, for scaling, we have the API in OpenGL. OpenGL supports scaling API also. Multiply subsequent coordinates by a scale factor Sx, Sy, Sz. Right? Sz is 0 in 2 dimensions. Right? Note, these are not a point. These are not a point, not a vector. Just 3 numbers. Just 3 numbers. Right? That's why if you want new value of x dash, then in x direction multiply scale factor, in y direction multiply scale factor, in z direction multiply with the scale factor. Right? Often Sx equal to Sy equal to Sz for uniform scaling. Again I have told during lab session. Uniform scaling, if the factors are different, this scaling is called anamorphic, means scaling is not uniform. OpenGL function GL scale, for example GL scale, there is a function called GL scale. How to use GL scale? GL scale in x direction, what is Sx? In y direction, what is Sy? In z direction, what is Sz? Right? In 2 dimensions, Sz is 0. Right? This is scale. Would cause all objects drawn subsequently to be half as big. Half as big. Right? Means your scale factor is less than 1. When scale factor is less than 1, at that time you are reducing the size. You are reducing size. If scale factor is greater than or equal to 1, you are increasing the size. Right? This is what regarding scaling. Right? Then OpenGL 2D viewing functions. OpenGL 2D viewing functions. OpenGL projection mode, 2D viewing functions. In OpenGL we have for viewing, these are the functions we have. That is, whenever you want to view, you have to GL matrix mode. Then which type of projection? As I told, there are 2 different projections. We will discuss that one in 4th module. Right? Projection. Means there are orthographic projection and perspective projection. Among these two, which type of projection we will use? By default we are using orthographic projection, right? Perspective projection is different. Now by default we have to use in 2 dimension perspective orthographic projection. That matrix you have to enable, that you have to use that mode, that is GL projection matrix. Then GL load identity means clear this matrix. If somebody has already some result if they are left in this projection matrix, we would like to clear, that is load identity matrix, right? Then after that, then clipping window function, then which portion of that object you want to view, right? Whenever you are setting the camera, that time in a group you may be interested only four persons in that group, you may not be interested in others. Like that, you to do that one, what you will do, you set your lens, you will adjust your lens in a such a way that only it covers only 4 persons from that group. If you want entire group, again you will adjust. That is what clipping means. Which portion of the scene you don't want, you have to clip, means you have to remove. Which portion you want to, that you retain, that is what clipping, right? To do that, we have the GLU Ortho 2D in 2 dimension. We have the GLU Ortho 2D in 2 dimension. Then GL Ortho in 3 dimension. Same clipping we have GL Ortho 2D, GL Ortho 2D in 2 dimension, GL Ortho in 3 dimensional, right? Here the parameters for these are means clipping window, means nothing but when you are taking image in a film, it will come in a window, right? Means X minimum, X maximum, Y minimum, Y maximum, means you have to set some clipping window. You have to set some clipping window. Then whatever is here, some clipping window you have to set like this. Then whatever there is within this, it will capture. Whatever outside this, it will remove. Whatever is there outside this, it will remove. Whatever there outside this, it will remove. Whatever there outside this, it will remove. Right? That's why that we are setting. Means clipping window. That is a 2D parallel. That's why 2D parallel projection. We have a parallel projection. We are not using perspective projection. Right? Then OpenGL viewport function. Then you have to map this one into monitor. You have to map this one into monitor. Where how to map? GL viewport, X viewport minimum, width and height. Means you are clipped here, you are mapping on screen, right? Means you have captured the image from here, then you are mapping, you are displaying it on a monitor. That is viewport. You have to set the viewport, right? Then GL get integer viewport, then it will give the viewport arrays, right? Then GL viewport functions. The rectangle area has an aspect ratio width by height. The rectangle area has an aspect ratio width by height always, right? That is called aspect ratio. Aspect ratio is my width by height. Windows, glut init window size. Then you have to set the window size, right? Then you have to use the glut init window size, width, height, right? Width, height. Then clipping window in this, which portion you want to clip. This is your window. In this window means this is your working area. Then in this working area, which portion you want to clip, right? That is clipping. GLU Ortho 2D, left, right, bottom, top. Then where you would like to map, on screen. That is GLU port, X, Y, width, height, right? In general, the clipping window, viewing value and the viewport need to have the same ratio. You have to maintain the same ratio. If you don't maintain the same ratio, then here what happens? If you don't maintain the same ratio, it will feel like this. Actually, the object is circle, but you are seeing the object is like oval. Why this has happened? Your clipping window height and width ratio is not matched with the viewport height and width ratio. This is called window to viewport mapping. That we will discuss in third module. Window to viewport mapping. Right? We have to map this. Right? This is what happens. If you don't map, then originally you have clipped object is circle, but you are seeing oval here. If you don't maintain the aspect ratios of clipping window and the viewport, right? This is called window to viewport mapping. That we will discuss in third module, right? This completes your second module, right? Thank you.